And whilst you are a prophet like this, there is another dimension of a relationship with God you can get to. Because when you hear God, you can get mistaken to think you are so close to him, that's why you hear him. Whereas that's just your office.
So he
you know, if you have a mobile phone that works, it doesn't mean to say you hear a lot.
No.
It's just your phone is so good and so clear. You might be half deaf without knowing, and the telephone is actually on loud volume. So God, my gift was loudly speaking, but I was actually deaf and dumb when it comes to the things of the Spirit in me, because I had more time doing church than more time being with him. Way back in 2008, December of 2008, and it was a time when God was really working with me with regards to a lot of this sedentary body fat that I referred to earlier on. And I was really, really deep in the things of God, just praying, trying to kind of, unclog myself. You talk about self-deliverance. You get the point. Getting deep into things and trying to bring myself back by force. As Kenneth Hagin used to say, if you can't start it in the spirit, start up in the flesh, it will wind up in the spirit. So when you see your spirit is in the wrong direction and really, really getting very clogged, and you're trying to get the flesh to force your spirit back there.
But you were in a unique position because you recognize that.
There's
a lot of people that don't recognize that.
Yeah, because when you are so busy doing God's work, you think you're actually talking to God.
Yes.
Because I would go to stadiums, healings would take place, prophecies, God would still speak through me. And I would pray that prayer that you would need to pray when you are going to a crusade. And then God wanted more time with me. And I didn't have more time with him, but I had more time for him. See,
a lot of people just missed what you just said.
I didn't have more time with him. I had more time for him. In other words, I was so busy working in church, having programs, teaching visitors. Around the world, people would visit around the world, to the extent that even the minister of tourism in the country that I was in at that time said I was one of the biggest tourism earners. You understand? Earners when it comes to tourists in the country. Just imagine how it become a tourist attraction. You get the point.
You had a huge economic impact on
Still
the nation.
have. Still have. Yeah. Just now in many nations now, but still have. But nothing changed. Trust me, things have grown astronomically. We are now. Watch this. We are over 150 branches now. You understand? Every continent we are there. That's right. So you understand? Every Sunday we're watched by 14 to 17 million people. That's not a small thing. It's a big thing.
Yes, sir.
Now, so it's not that but I wasn't getting those numbers. I was getting a certain number, but I was really, really, I think, looking back, I think you become big-headed without knowing you're big-headed. You get the point. So with that in place, I thought, let me bring my flesh, rein in my flesh, and then force myself in the spirit. You get the point. I would say, okay, you do this for me. I'm talking to God.
So you identified a need within yourself to rein in everything that was going on.
Exactly.
Get yourself under subjection, get yourself back under God.
Yes.
And move things forward.
Not that I was outside of God. I was just too busy for God that I didn't have time with God.
So the shift was more a personal relationship with him.
Reducing my for to with.
So less of the work, more of the intimacy.
Intimacy with him, more time with him. He needed more time with me. And I thought I was actually giving more time by giving more time to his work. Where everybody who was coming, I would bring them in and, what do you want? No, sit here. I'm going to do this. I'm going to prophesy to you, tell you what God is saying. Everyone, people were visiting, and I would sit down with them. You're getting the point. It still happens here and there, but now I give more time to God. You see, even when I'm doing a service, I think you have heard when we are live and I would say, I need to go.
Yes.
We have our time. Like I said before, it is something that I managed to recognize by myself and say, look, I needed a change. Like I told you, I would be in A-listers' houses, shocking them with sharp prophetic acumen, so to speak. that should have been used to edify the church.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yes.
Because I was getting ululations and clap of hands,
Yeah.
and all that, and trust me, Hollywood was brilliant.
Yeah.
You get how everyone is calling you. This one is saying, this one is saying, this one is saying. And while he's at other times sitting with heads of state, trying to solicit 1 or 2 prophecies for election victory. So you understand. So I was using it for a lot of things. It is still to glorify God, but I called that success.
But your prophetic alacrity opened huge doors for you.
Exactly, but it wasn't success. I awoke from my stupor, if you might say. I awoke from my stupor and discovered I was self-serving. Incompetent at times, and I needed someone as serious as Pastor Chris, somebody who could get me deeper into the things of God, of the Lord. And Pastor Chris was just there. When I met Pastor Chris, I recalibrated. I was still working for God. I was still hearing from God. Even the prophets I was giving, they were actually given by the Spirit of the Lord. But it was like I was just too successful in the sense of, see, the Bible says, they shall, therefore, if you meditate on this word, you will have good success. Yeah. You understand?
So the meeting,
good success.
The meeting between the two of you was a truly defining moment.
It was a defining moment. It was a defining moment. Trust me, I'm no longer what I used to be. Yeah. But at that time, stadiums full, heads of state, appearing on all these other, these platforms. Like I said, 1 minute, I have people screaming my name. Another minute, I'm in Hollywood with the A-listers and the B-listers and sometimes C-listers. And then the next minute, I'm feeding the hungry in Punjab. I'm feeding the hungry in Africa. And then the next minute, I'm crying, God, please touch me.
Yeah. So you had a...
It's a roller coaster. I was on a roller coaster. Yeah. And it's something that when your life, you see, my life was just a roller coaster, And it's like I was crying for something. I was at the end of my rope, wanting somebody to cut me loose. Yeah. You understand?
Yes, sir.
It's like spiritually you can see, you want to make ends meet and nobody's making the ends available to meet. And then you realize, wait a minute, there is a vacuum here. But that vacuum can be fed through the words of the man. Yeah. But I don't have access. Then God blows your mind and says, there is a dispensation. I'm like, what? You mean the dispensation? And there is an apostle for the dispensation? He said, yeah. Then there is an evangelist for the dispensation. He's like, yeah. And then there's a prophet for the dispensation. Yes. Teacher, pastor for the dispensation. Yes. And there are then other pastors. Very important, but in a dispensation, I have somebody who leads a dispensation.
Singular voices.